Good morning, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I guess I should change my name. It still says Batgirl.
Yeah, we like it. I'm just
Because
busy.
I'm in the Bat Cave.
I'm just getting everybody admitted in and allowing them to all join. And Chris, you guys should be able to share your screens whenever you're ready. I don't have any blocks or anything on that, so.
Perfect. I'll give it a whirl to make sure
Okay.
that we're good to go.
Great. Thanks for doing this today.
You bet. Thanks for asking us to do it.
So how's homeschooling going?
I feel like I need to offer an apology just in case it's loud at our house. I did my best to make threats and bribes and all of that, but we have a sitter that's helping us, which is super awesome.
Nice. Threats and bribes, perfect.
Yeah.
That's become the story of my life too, so I get it.
Erica.
No,
If you're quiet, I will get you anything you want. Just be quiet.
For sure.
No fighting, no crying. Leave me alone for 10 minutes.
I know. It'll be nice when, the weather's been good, so it's been nice because they've been able to be outside a lot, and my office is down in our basement, and so there's just from jumping, there's thuds and yeah. But we're making the best of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I sent my daughter next door for this time. Said, go hang out with the neighbor while we're doing this presentation. She was very happy to.
All right. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, Jerica. Okay. Got a few more people jumping on here. Well, a belated happy Mother's Day to all of you. Hope you had a good day.
And to you.
I'm a dog mom. She just does give me treats, I'll give you love. It's all good.
That's the bribe thing you guys were talking about.
It is the bribe thing.
It applies to all.
That's right.
Okay. All right, Jerica, you want to get started? And as people come in, I can go ahead and admit them after you're unmuted.
And I did something to my screen. Hold on, bear with me for a sec. Hitting buttons and I don't know what's going on now. Okay. So good morning, everybody. So for those of you guys that don't know, LUM does a lot of marketing. They're really exceptional with helping you build your websites, manage your websites, any of your marketing needs. They're pretty wonderful. I don't even remember what your company was named 3-4 months ago. Isn't that terrible?
No, that's a sign of a good rebrand.
It is a good rebrand. So what we've done is, because all of us are working from home in our lives and even our business lives have taken such a drastic change, the way that we communicate and the way that we engage with people on our socials is totally changing out there. So we asked them to kind of talk about some new approaches that we can have just to kind of keep us relevant. And I hate the word they're the phrase the new normal, but moving forward, just to keep us out there and ready to go, and then efficient, most importantly. So Kirsten, I will let you guys take it away.
Perfect. Well, first of all, thanks to everybody at the Chamber for asking us to visit about social media and best practices today. We're really looking forward to it, and we're just gonna jump in and get going. As Jerica said, I'm Kirsten Ellis. I'm partner and director of strategy and client service for LUM Studio. And also with me today is Jessie Sodden, our marketing coordinator.
Hello.
For anyone unfamiliar with our business, we are an integrated marketing and communications firm developing custom programs to help businesses and organizations meet their goals and communicate better with their audiences. So you can kind of see here just a number of the things that we do with our clients, and every program that we have for each of our clients looks a little bit different and is custom to their needs. So why we're here today. We're going to first talk about why it's important to utilize social media. We're going to walk through the top social media platforms. We're going to share some social media best practices and tips for maximizing engagement. And then we're going to discuss some social media strategies to utilize during a crisis, specifically COVID-19. And I do want to note that we kind of took a two-prong approach today because we have seen some restrictions and guidelines loosen up in the last few weeks and anticipate that that will continue to happen. So we want to give you good ideas for just when we get to start operating more like business as usual, as well as when you're in the midst of a crisis and something specifically like COVID-19. So the first and biggest reason to use social media is that there were 3.196 billion people using social media in 2018. This results in the average American spending 2 hours per day or 14 hours per week on social media. And we just feel like that is way too massive of an audience to ignore. The reality is that your customers are already there and your competitors are already there. So if you're not using social media, or if you don't have a strategy with goals and purposeful content in place, you're getting left behind. This is an additional statistic that came out in social media today in early April, and they said due to COVID-19, people are spending 20% more time in apps than last year. And like I said, since this was from early April, this is likely even increased more since then. So I could give you dozens of reasons why you should use social media, but I'm going to talk about what we call the big four today. So the first is targeting. Through things like groups and paid ads, you have the ability to make sure that you're talking to the people that you need to be. From basic demographics to geographic locations to socioeconomic information, you really just have the opportunity to dig deep into targeting options. I would caution you in Wyoming that we have to be a little bit careful about this because it's very easy to start diving down too far into those targeting options, and then the platforms will tell you you need to expand it because you know, the group's too small. But it really offers you a lot of option to try different things and experiment. The second reason is measurement. So each of the social media platforms provides different insights and metrics. A lot of you are probably very familiar with those, but they help you understand how people are utilizing your social media, how they're engaging with you, what's resonating with them, and some of the actions that they're taking in relation to your content and information. At the end of the day, social media should be impacting your business goals. So in order to ensure that that's happening, you need to be measuring and evaluating what's working and what's not so that you can ensure it's helping. The third is adaptability. So with metrics, you can very quickly see what's working and what's not working. It allows you to redirect dollars and resources from things that are a bust to things that are working well and resonating with your audience. It doesn't require you to be stuck in a lengthy campaign like some other traditional advertising options sometimes do. The fourth is convenience and management. So social media is like the fastest way to get quality and quantity to your community. It just allows for quick updates and information. It allows for two-way communication so that you're not just pushing information to your community. They also have an opportunity to respond and give you feedback also. All right, Jesse's going to jump in now and take you through some of the largest platforms, and then also go into some best practices in normal operating times.
Perfect. Thanks, Kirst. So you have probably heard of a lot of these platforms that we're going to talk about today. We're going to just give you a brief overview and then talk about who the typical users might be for each one. So we'll start with Facebook. You know, you can see here that over 200 billion monthly active users are on Facebook, which is a huge amount of people using social media. And Facebook Messenger, or Facebook, is for everybody. You're going to find, you can see here all different age ranges, male and female, income levels and education levels. Facebook is for everybody. So it's a really great place for your business to be. And for you to connect and share what's happening within your businesses, because there's a large amount of people using Facebook over other platforms. Facebook is also really great among older demographics, because older demographics are not using other platforms as readily as younger age groups. So keep that in mind when if you're trying to reach an older demographic. You can see here age 50 to 64, 72% of users use Facebook, and 65 plus 62%. And as we go through these platforms, you'll notice those numbers really decrease. And so capturing your audience on this, on social media, Facebook is going to be a really great place to do that. Another great thing, another great thing about Facebook is that you can message users directly. You can utilize stories, events, and groups so that you can reach your audience on a greater level than you can on some of these other platforms. Okay, Kirst, go ahead. So next we've got Instagram, and Instagram is really great for visual, if you have a lot of visuals to share. So if your business, for instance, we have a client who does a lot of like performing acts for like different like juggling or magic acts, things like that. They're very visual, so they can create a lot of videos to share, and Instagram's a really great place to do that because the visual effects are so striking and really capture the user's eye. So if you're a business that has a lot of things that you can visually share, products, any type of things that services that you're doing for people, videos, photos, Instagram's going to be a really great place to capture your audience. The type of user here is going to be a younger demographic, but still you can see that it's fairly even on male and female. So the gender thing on Instagram is not going to be a problem. And Instagram is really great now because they have an Explore tab, which is a place where if you are selling a product, you can have people shop directly through the Explore tab on Instagram. And then also sharing stories, Instagram TV or Instagram Live are a great place to capture your audience because they will be able to see what you're doing through video as well. All right. Next we have Twitter, and Twitter is pretty evenly spread on demographics. You will find that that data shows that there are not a lot of users for Wyoming. In fact, Wyoming is one of the lowest ranking states for Twitter users. So if you're using Twitter for your business, don't be shocked if there's not a lot of Wyoming-based interactions. Twitter is going to be for people who are looking for quick information. They probably are looking for news, headlines, They just want to see in your 280 characters or less that you get what your business is up to, what's happening in the business world, what's happening in the world. And so they, like I said, have the 280 characters or less, and it used to be 140, so they upped that, but it's still a short amount that you can share. And that's just going to be quick pieces of information. Next, we'll talk about LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, as most of you probably know, is a great place for business-to-business connections. This is going to be your professional networking site. So any of your posts on here probably tend to be more professional. You have a lot of users that are looking for jobs, and then a lot of that business-to-business interaction. So here you'll see that 50% are college graduates, some have attended college, and some, very few have finished high school or less. So again, this is people coming into the workforce. They're probably looking for jobs, and they're looking to see what your business is up to on a professional level. All right, and then onto Pinterest. Pinterest is actually a really great platform for your business to be utilizing. This one has been one of the largest and quickest growing platforms in the last few years. It's very visual. So if you're unfamiliar with Pinterest, what that is you're taking any ideas that you have and you're pinning them to a board, organizing them into a board so that you can save your ideas for later. Pinterest is really not focused on brands. It's focused on usability. So what users are finding, will this information be useful? The demographics on this type of user that you're looking at are typically female, and a large majority of them are mothers. And so they're looking at what can I use, not only in my house life, but for a work-life balance, different ideas. You'll see a lot of recipes, a lot of home goods, and a lot of businesses are using this information to push people to their websites to purchase these products. So when you click on a pin, it will take you to a website's page where people can get more information about the product or information that you're sharing, and then be able to purchase your services or your products. Onto Snapchat. This one is really targeted toward younger demographics, but and it's, if you're unfamiliar with Snapchat, what it is it's a photo and video sharing platform. And once you've shared your short video or photo, they disappear. So you cannot rewatch them unless you save them. The user can see that you've saved them if you decide to snapshot a photo. But it gives all sorts of fun filters and videos, and just a place to connect about everybody's everyday life. You'll see here that a majority of the users are also female in this demographic. And a great way to engage as a business, to engage your users on Snapchat, is to work with Snapchat to create a frame or a filter. So when users are in your area, you can target the area that you would like. So for instance, if you were at David Street Station and you wanted to create a frame for David Street Station, when users get close to the David Street Station area, they can choose the filter that says David Street Station, maybe the date, a fun fact, and a hashtag or something, and take a photo with that. And then they can share that with their followers. And it's just a fun way to engage your users on a different level with this one. You can also share stories, which are great for users because they'll click through the stories just to see what you're up to throughout the day, and discover short videos as well. All right, so YouTube is wildly popular. Again, this platform, like Facebook, is for everybody. It's the largest video platform out there. And the way you can use this as a business is to create a channel for your business where you house all of your videos or client videos, and you can share them and push them to other social media platforms or your website, or you can push people to your YouTube page. The more follows that you get on a page will allow you to create your own custom handle, but you have to have a certain amount of followers before you do that. But it's still a really great way to engage with people via video. And one more that we don't have on here that's really been hot and happening, and for future presentations, we're going to get some demographics on this, but is TikTok. And you may have heard this through your kids or other people. I've seen a lot of videos on Facebook where people are creating them on TikTok. And TikTok is by far the fastest growing social media platform. And a lot of people are really getting on there. You'll see a lot of celebrities. Again, I don't have demographics for ages, but you're starting to see all age ranges starting to use TikTok. And you create a video, you can add music, filters, there's short bite-sized videos that you share with people. And there's a lot of in-app purchases, which gives businesses a way to connect with their users on TikTok as well. So stay tuned for some more demographics on that on future videos, or on future presentations, but that's one to keep your eye on as well. All right, so next we're going to talk about best practices so that you can maximize your social media effectiveness. So it's really important to understand what social media is. We've covered all of the platforms. You probably have an idea of what it is, but it's direct two-way communication, so you can connect intelligently with your audience, share valuable content that they need, and build strong and lasting relationships. That's going to be really important with social media, just like it would be if you were in person. You'll discover that you do a lot of public relations through Facebook, customer service. People will ask you questions or send you messages directly through social media, and you can connect with them on that level as well. Collaboration, networking is really a great place for social media. Loyalty building, thought leadership, so that you can show people that you're a leader in your industry. This is where they're going to turn to for brand information, resources, and insight. And all of these things are going to, starting with social media, you'll be able to push them back to your website. So it's really important to keep your social media updated so that you can show that you're still relevant and know what you're talking about. And then also customer acquisition. Just as people organically find out about you or through paid ads, it's a great way to reach an audience that maybe you couldn't prior to using social media. All right, so let's talk about strategy. Hope is not a strategy. It's really important to plan out how you're going to use social media, just like you would in any other marketing efforts that you have. It's important to understand your audience and how they're using the platforms. Consider and identify your goals. So make sure they're smart, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Set your messaging themes. And this is going to kind of come off of understanding your audience and how they're using the platforms. So make sure that your messaging is consistent, that it's relevant to those users, and that you're using guiding statements. Identify your process. How are you going to post? When are you going to post? What type of content are you going to post? Will you use photos and videos? It's really a good idea to get this all worked out so that you're not just sharing memes that other people have created. You're sharing your own content and you're sharing things that are relevant to your business. And then along those same lines, develop a content calendar. This is a really great way to stay on track to ensure that you're hitting all of your goals. Your content calendar will show the days that you're posting and the type of information that you're going to post. And seeing it all in calendar format is a great way too to see, oh, these are the events that we have coming up. Let's make some posts around those. Or these are holidays that are coming up. And so it's nice to see all of that laid out into a calendar format. It's important to utilize visuals that will attract and engage your customers, your target audience. So platforms are used very differently, like we just saw. So Facebook, a lot of people are really using that. You can use a lot of links on Facebook. You can share content really easily on Facebook. With Instagram, it's very visual. And if you post a link into a post for Instagram, it's not going to work. You have to put your link in the bio. So different platforms work in different ways. And so you need to utilize those videos that are going to, or utilize the visuals that will attract and engage based on the platform that you're using. And then it's really important to interact. If somebody leaves a comment for you or has a question for you, don't just let it sit out there in dead space. Answer the people that are talking to you. It's really important to do that as a business to show that you not only care about their thoughts and what they have, but you're making those good connections with them and building those relationships by responding and by giving them some attention and saying, we see you, we understand, and here's what we're going to do, or here's what we offer. Hello, thank you for following our page. All right. So in order to use this, we talked a little bit about using good visuals, and you don't have to be a designer to use a lot of these things. You don't have to have a lot of big, bulky products or anything like that that maybe you're unable to use. There's a lot of really great resources. Some are free, some are cost very little, but a few of the top places that you can find stock photos or create things would be Pexels, Unsplash, and Pixabay. Those are great places for stock photos. Most of them are free. There are a few that you have to purchase, but a majority on their site, you just type in what you're looking for, and it'll give you a whole bunch of photos that users have uploaded that don't cost anything for you to use. To create photos that have words on them or different filters and make them look like you've spent a lot of time, like you are a designer or you have Photoshop or any of those things, you can use WordSwag and Canva are two that we really like to use. The cost is very low for those, and there are free versions available, but they'll help you to make profile frames. Like I was talking about, when users want to take a photo and use one of your frames, you can use these to create those. They'll help you with stories, make your stories on Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat really engaging and make people want to look and see what you're doing. These are all great tools to use to help make your content more visually appealing. All right. So let's talk a little bit about social media advertising. Like traditional advertising, social media advertising can reach a larger audience than you would organically. And so it's really important to consider advertising on social media, even though there are a lot of free resources to reach your audience. Another great thing about social media advertising is that you may not spend as much as you would with print advertising to achieve your goals. So the first thing that we suggest is to amplify your content. And by this, we mean when you're on any social media platform, you can see the metrics associated with each post, and you can choose which posts are doing the best organically, and then use those to advertise with. You already know that they're doing well organically, so chances are if you're going to boost those posts and advertise to your target audience and reach a wider audience, then those are going to do well there as well. And then you're not fumbling around wondering, is this going to be a good post to share? You already know that based on the metrics from organic posts. You can micro-target your campaigns. And what that means is that you're really targeting this very specific audience, and you don't have to spend any more than what your marketing budget would be to do this. You just get to do it based on insights from social media. They'll kind of tell you, these are the people that are looking at your ads, so maybe you can zero in on this area the most. Pay for what matters. Again, that goes back to amplifying your content. Don't waste your advertising dollars on ads that are not doing well. it's a really good idea to kind of look at some metrics before you start boosting those posts so that you can see, like, even if you let it run for a day before you advertise for it or boost it, you'll have an idea of how well that's performing so that you can get the most bang for your buck. There is an ad for every budget. What we recommend is, and what the industry standard is about 7 to 8% of your revenue for marketing. And then 10 to 25% of that would go to social media. So for instance, if you had $10,000 in revenue and you were going to put the 7 to 8% of revenue to marketing, that's about $700. 175 of that should go to social media. So it seems like a bigger number, but you're really going to reach such a large audience, and an audience that you would not normally connect with. Another thing is that Facebook has recently acquired Instagram. Well, it's been a couple of years, but now they have a platform crossover. So when you're creating these ads on Facebook, you can also create them on Instagram at the same time so that your budget is splitting up between Instagram and Facebook, and it makes it really easy to monitor and to manage. And it's just a really good way to engage customers for both Facebook and Instagram by doing it that way. And with advertising, just remember your business goals and objectives. So choose the right network to advertise on. If you're looking to hire somebody, you may want to choose to do an ad on LinkedIn. If you are looking to share out content for people and you really want a lot of people to see the content that you're sharing, you might boost that on Facebook. So just be cognizant of what you're sharing and which network you're sharing on, and use those metrics. We're going to talk about those here in a little bit, but use the metrics that you are getting to show you this is where you need to be putting your advertising dollars. All right. So understanding your results. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you measure your social media strategy and how to understand it. So when you're measuring, what you're doing is you're making sure that your money is going to the right place here. Make a central place to track your goals. Chris, do you want to go ahead and put all those up? Thanks. Create a central place to track your goals. You're going to have a lot of different platforms that you're working with, including your website. And so it's important to create a central place where you can keep track of everything. And as you probably know, once you start going through numbers, a lot of those can get jumbled. So it's nice to just see everything all laid out in one spot. It's really important to take individual program analytics. So from all of your different platforms, pull analytics from all of those. How is the website traffic coming through? How many users do you have? What posts are being seen? What's the engagement rate and the reach? Those are some really great areas to choose analytics from. And then do the same thing for email from your website and any other social media platform or management tools that you're using, like Hootsuite. We love Google Analytics. We always link them with the websites. So it's really important that if you're going to go through all these efforts to also link Google Analytics to your website. This is important because it's going to show where your traffic is coming from. So you'll be able to really target these goals. And Kirsten sort of hit on that earlier about measuring your goals. And when you're in your website, you can really narrow it down to like area to city. And it is a little, when you're in Wyoming and we're so spread out, you might see lower numbers than they are other places, but it's still really important to see. You can tell where your users are coming from: Wyoming, Colorado, Texas. You can see the age demographics, but one of the most important things is that you can see how people are acquiring your site. and you can break that down by social media platform. So you're able to know people are coming from Facebook or from Instagram or LinkedIn, and it'll show you exactly how many people so that you know how your efforts are working on the social media end. Another great thing that is also from Google is Google Console, Google Search Console. And this tells you the keywords that people are searching to get to your website. And it's actually quite fascinating to see how people are reaching you. But it's a really great tool, because then that allows you to use those keywords in the content that you're creating so that you're capturing what people are searching for on your website. And then, of course, there's the word of mouth or conversation. Direct customer feedback is always a really, really great tool, and you're getting exactly what you need because the customer is telling you directly. So don't dismiss those as a way to measure your social media strategy. Just remember that your customer is always who you want to reach, and there's different ways of doing that, whether it's digitally or in person.
Okay, now I will finish us off with navigating social media in a crisis, and specifically COVID-19. So in the current environment, you need to update your efforts, tools, and tactics to ensure your audience hears and connects with what you're saying and offering. And the first way that we suggest to do this is by modifying your messaging. You need to ensure awareness, relevancy, and sensitivity. You should just make a habit of reviewing your messaging before you share any content, information, or posts out on social media. Ensure that it's sensitive to the struggles and challenges that people are experiencing right now. And one really good thought to do that is think contribution, not conversion or sales. Secondly, you still need to provide value at this time. So although people's priorities and needs have shifted, what you're sharing should still be relevant and offer them value. So that could be inspiration, ideas, support, resources, things like that. But whatever it is, you need to consider what it is that people need right now. Third, consider untapped audiences or offerings. So, do you have the ability to serve other audiences at this time, or can you serve your existing audience in a deeper or more meaningful way? I think one of the greatest stories in our community over the last couple months that we've seen this is Backwards Distilling, and how they have moved from their traditional products to hand sanitizer for health workers and just people in our community. 4, be sure that you're sharing your story and relevant business information. So right now, people are really eager to connect and feel secure during a crisis. And we're hearing lots of stories of challenges and amazing resilience. And so if you can offer stories of meaningful hope and inspiration, you can really connect with people that way. I think it's also important to note that you really have to make sure that any updated business information like hours or offerings is available to people. And social media is a great place to do this, along with a Google business page if you have one, as well as specific listing pages. Like I know the Chamber did a COVID resource page, and Visit Casper did as well, and I'm sure a number of other organizations. So just making sure that you're letting people know, how you're operating and what's available to them during this time. All right, so a few of the things you want to make sure you do. You want to be as selfless as possible. The last 2 months have been really difficult for many people. And by being selfless and giving back as much as possible, you really have the opportunity to connect with more people and more deeply connect with your existing community. I read an example from a freelance marketer that he simply opened up and offered some of his more premium paid tools. He offered them to his community for free in like late March. So a little ways into quarantining, and he had a significant increase in downloads. And although it doesn't mean that all those people will be purchasing other products or services from him, it does mean that he now has a larger community to communicate with, and created additional brand awareness for his business. I think being selfless also allows customers to create a more loyal relationship with you. When they see that you have their best interest in mind, they might pick you over someone who's less expensive or just another option. The second thing is to be timely. I think part of this is understanding the probabilities of things to come. So at some point we know that guidelines and restrictions will continue to relax, and being able to be prepared for those and having an idea of how you'll transition as they do is one way you can be prepared when they do. I think also being prepared to respond quickly to comments and inquiries or changing conditions is very important right now, which goes along with flexibility. Right now, about the only thing that's constant is change. And so, the sooner that we can accept this and then just be flexible and do our best to communicate, I think the easier it's going to be on everyone. Lastly, being transparent but positive. So you definitely want to be open and honest with your community, but you can also inspire hope and be forward thinking. So don't overpromise anything, but do promise them that you will remain committed to your consumers and your community, and also that you'll do your best to manage the situation and keep them updated as you can. So we've really advised our clients the last couple of months to focus on digital efforts from more traditional marketing. As we said at the beginning of this visit, that more people are utilizing digital platforms and apps, and we have less office time and less car time right now, which leaves people less exposed to more traditional marketing strategies. I think also we're experiencing a lot less face-to-face and in-person business development than we normally would. So focusing on digital opportunities is a way to stay in front of your consumers. And several ways that you can do that are through social and paid advertising. We've spent a lot of our time today talking about this. At a minimum right now, you can be nurturing and growing your audience. It's also a good time to test virtual or modified offerings. So if you can adapt in some way, but you're not sure if it's going to resonate or be interesting to your audience, test it out. And if it works, then, put the gas down on it and expand and grow that. And if it doesn't, don't be afraid to acknowledge that and say, I tried it, and move on. Secondly, keywords and Google Ads. So it's a great time to do an inventory of the keywords and the keyword phrases that are driving people to your website from search engines like Google. And we focused a lot on Google in our conversation today because Google is for sure the highest used search platform, and also other search engines take note from Google. So that's where we spend most of our time and efforts, just as a side note. So anyway, reviewing your keywords and keyword phrases to get an inventory of what ones are working to push people to your website, and what keywords and keyword phrases are delivering rankings for you is a good thing to understand. And you can also work on updating those if it doesn't feel like they're the right ones. And then the second thing to do as part of that is to consider experimenting with Google Ads at this time, and using some of those keyword phrases, and seeing if you can push additional people that may not have found your site. That'll just help them find you more easily. And the third is email. We find email is a very effective and useful tool if you're sharing added value and interesting content. If it's missing those two things, people will ignore or delete your emails or unsubscribe. So if you choose to utilize email, really include some sort of value and some interesting content for your subscribers. So we just wanted to share a few free tools that we have on our website with you all. You can go and download them if you're interested. And that's really all we had for today. So thanks to the Chamber and Kim and Erin and Jerica for asking us to visit with everyone, and hope we've provided some insight during this time.
Yeah, so I saw, let's see, does anybody have any questions?
I know Elisa had one on the side. Says, do you happen to have user numbers per platform and demographics specific to Wyoming?
I do not believe we have that, at least not handy.
No.
We could probably pull something together for you and get it off to you guys, and then you can share it out. Does that work? Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Sorry, Elisa.
The majority of our numbers come from different social media reporting sites like Sprout Social, Hootsuite, and HubSpot. And so they are going to be more national numbers or even world numbers for the amount of people that are using social media. So that is something that we can pull and we can get it together for you.
And personally, we've been working with LUM. They are in the process of redesigning our website for us, which is great. We're so excited about what's coming. I can tell you that they will listen to every crazy, wonky suggestion that you have. They will tell you if it's possible, and they will tell you if it's not. So they're really great to work with, and just having that local community business and partnership is great, and knowing that they're close by, and that they really have what's best for Casper and our community at heart. So thanks, ladies.
You bet. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so we did record this call, so if any of you guys want a copy of it, email me, Kim, or Erin, and then we will get it out to you. Otherwise, if there's no more questions, thank you, girls, so much for your time. We appreciate you putting this presentation together for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Have a good day,
Everybody
everyone.
take care. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
In person.
In person, that's right.